Well, hi.
Hi.
Thanks for being my guest today.
Thanks for having me today.
I'm so excited to chat with you. Even though we have already, I feel like we should have started recording an hour ago because
when I walked in the front door.
The minute you walked in, I was like, oh my God, I love you and I haven't seen you in so long.
I know.
And here's all the good stuff. And now we'll just figure out something else to talk about.
Well, we can still talk about how much I love you.
Yay. Okay, so this is Natasha Sizlo. Did I say the last name right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Great, so easy. We met 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Through the Alliance of Moms.
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful organization, and Adriana will tag them in the episode notes so everyone can learn a little bit more. But since then, you've had so many interesting journeys. The biggest one, I think, being the launch of your book. Well, not even the launch, but like the journey of the story of the book, and then actually writing and publishing and all of the things afterwards.
Watching this whole thing. Yeah, it's been, you caught me at a good, interesting, like the last 4 years have been like wild. So.
Well, I think I came in at the best time. It was like past all the hardest parts of life and then starting the most interesting part.
Yeah, we got the hard shit done with.
My perception of you is like this magnetic, fiercely interesting, like very cool person who just like has always had this fearlessness and adventure. And so don't taint my idea of you. Any other stories, we'll just go from there.
But I love that. Yeah.
Tell people a little bit about the book and how it kind of came to be. I know you've probably done so much talking about that. So
I have, but not in a little while because the book came out last August. So it's been a while. I've taken like a 4-month break of like talking about myself because the one thing I learned about writing a memoir is, and then promoting it, it's like an exercise in narcissism. You just have to talk about yourself all the time. And so I had to take a nice break from that. So.
Yeah. But it's such a beautiful tale, all of it. I think the origin story of it and the book itself.
Yeah.
People will find it vastly interesting.
Well, I can sum it up for you if you want kind of the story of it. So the book is called All Signs Point to Paris, a memoir of love, loss, and destiny. It's so weird that I haven't talked to him about it in so long. I'm like, did I actually do that? Did I go on this crazy adventure?
Yes.
I did, yeah. So about 4 going on 5 years ago now, right? Probably we were meeting each other. I was really at rock bottom. My dad was diagnosed with a terminal illness. I had just kind of ended things for the like millionth and final time with a man that I was really in love with, but just wasn't a relationship that could sustain.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a million things. I had a horrible divorce. My dog died. I filed bankruptcy. Like the hits had just kept coming, and I was rebuilding in a career. I work at the agency in Los Angeles, and it's really hard to fake it in this town, but I was doing that, right? Like you're just like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm selling this $10 million house today, and I'm like struggling raising 2 kids by myself. And I think when my dad got diagnosed with a lung disease that he was not going to recover from, he was my rock, and it really just knocked the wind out of me in a way that I hadn't ever known could happen. And so my best friend in the world, who I had written off, I mean, I've known her for 25 years or longer now, my friend Nicole, she wanted to gift me an astrology reading for my birthday because she just thought, you know, I needed this gift, right? Why not? And normally I would have said no, because I was a real cynic, like did not believe in the crystals and the psychics and the gurus and all that stuff.
Really?
No, not at all. I was like, I was really mean about it, actually.
I did not know that part of the story.
Oh, yeah. I was the opposite. I wasn't a believer at all. I was a facts and logic, and my dad was, you know, Mr. MIT, and I was raised that way. And, you know, when I see it, I'll believe it instead of believing it and then seeing it, right?
Wow.
So very different mindset that I have now. But so she gifted me this reading. And the first thing I said to the astrologer, who lives actually in this neighborhood, I said, just so you know, I don't believe in astrology. And she said, okay, you don't have to. And then of course she proceeded to give me this reading where all of a sudden I was blown away by everything that she was telling me, like things that happened in my childhood, things that, you know, she kind of called out that I was a writer. I was a writer in my early 20s, but I hadn't written in 25 years. I was a magazine writer. and like almost drowning at a certain age, and like just all these things that were just so I hadn't even thought about in so long, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So by the end of the reading, she asked me if I had any questions, and I was still just having a really hard time getting over this, like, you know, love affair that it was my post-divorce romance that was a 5-year relationship. It was pretty significant, yeah. And French guy, Philippe. And she said, well, I said, can you just look up his birthday? I just want to make sure I didn't make like a horrible mistake by leaving him or anything like that, because it was still tugging at me, right? But I knew it wasn't the right guy. I mean, there was a lot of other reasons which are in the book, but so I gave her a birthday. Actually, I got the birthday wrong, but finally, when I gave her the right birthday, she said, he's in line with your point of destiny. And you know, the word husband and marriage and all this stuff came up, and then my sister called me and said, Dad has 2 weeks left to live. And I really, rock bottom got a whole lot lower, and I just lost it. I was like drinking tequila. I was like, had just, you know, a really rough night. Woke up in the morning, and I looked in the mirror and I just didn't recognize myself. I was like a ghost of who I had been. I just had lost like all hope in life. I just like all light that we have in us had just been snuffed out. And so I had this epiphany that Philippe was born in Paris on November 2nd, 1968. And I was texting my girlfriend, Nicole, who gifted me the reading. And I said, well, he can't be the only one. I just have to go meet every other man who was born on November 2nd, 1968. And being like the amazing best friend that she is, she's like, well, that's a great idea.
Let's go.
She's like, we're gonna have to go to Paris. And I was like, okay. And it wasn't really, I just felt like I had gotten out of checkmate a little bit with that like kind of story in my head about this astrologer who was right about everything in my life and blew me away, and then told me something that really didn't work. And by the way, Philippe had moved on. He's with somebody else. It's not like that story is going back. Then I went to go see my dad, who was going through some really difficult end of life stuff. He was trying to decide kind of how to end life, and he was actually trying to decide if he was going to do something called Aid in Dying. And so it was a big, heavy conversation. He starts crying. My sister and I are by his bedside. My mom is like not there because she can't handle it. They've been married 56 years. I'd never seen my dad cry my whole life. And, you know, he was sad because he was having to leave my mom. He promised he would always like love and protect and take care of her. And she came from like a really difficult background from Scotland. And he just always was that guy, like, I'll take care of you forever. And he was just heartbroken that he couldn't anymore. And he started crying, and my sister turned to me and she's like, I haven't talked about this in a while. It's just making me like, it just feels like yesterday. So she turned to me and says, Tosh, you got to change the conversation. Like, do or say something. And I was like, okay, that's my role in the family, right? We all have this role, and I've always been comic relief. So I was like, Dad, I met with this astrologer, and this is what she said. Did you know astrologers had assistants? And I was like trying to lighten the mood, and I see my dad, and by the way, he's like on death's door, right? He's like literally in his like bed with like oxygen tanks and everything. And this poor man is looking at me with his eyes wide.
He's like, my daughter has lost it.
Yeah, I was afraid I was going to give him a heart attack before he died of lung disease. Like, it was a really like risky move. Oh, man. And then he got real quiet for a long time because he was losing the ability to speak. And then he said, sounds like you're going to Paris. I'll meet you there. And it was like one of the last conversations I had with him. And my sister was like, yeah, fuck you, life telling us how to live. And all of a sudden it turned into this party, and like we turned on like music and started dancing, and the hospice person comes in and is dancing with us, and it turned into this joyous moment of, I guess, kind of having a little bit of hope that we'll see each other again. You know, which so the book is about that journey, and I ended up doing just that. So I tracked, it took me about a year, and it wasn't like, you know, it's not a...
Well, you don't have to give away the ending.
It's not a simple story, but I did go to Paris.
You did go to Paris.
I went to Paris with my sister and my best friends, and we went on this journey of meeting a bunch of strange men.
Yeah. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was like a life-changing event. And then as soon as I got back and scattered his ashes, and it was 1 year since he passed, that was my grief journey, right? But it was with a lot of fun, like rom-com. Yeah. It's like a comedic grief journey.
I mean, there's worse ways to get through grief. But it's so cool, the whole experience and the divine timing of all of that.
Yeah.
To give you, who provides everybody else this comic relief and this lightness during hard moments, for you to have an experience that could do that same thing for you, I think is so cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're courageous enough to like take this chance and go on this adventure and not be tied to like it has to end a certain way, or it's going to be a failure, or it's going to, you know, like there's so many people who I think have these ideas and or passions and we're too scared to make those decisions to follow through with them. So that's the part I think is just the most special.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so everyone has to buy the book, obviously, and read it and enjoy it. As you know, you signed a copy for my mom.
You were so sweet. Everybody
She loved it. She literally started reading it that morning. Like, Chad gave it to her. Chad obviously is loved much more than I am by my mom. Everyone knows this.
Oh my God, you're so funny.
She loves us both, but like, let's be real. Chad's a dream son-in-law to have.
Yes.
And so he didn't even give me the opportunity to be like, Mom, this is my friend who wrote this book. He was like, Natasha is my dear friend, and I went specifically to have her sign this for you for your birthday.
Oh my gosh, you guys were so sweet. So I did a book signing at Barnes & Noble, to anybody listening to this. And the one thing they don't tell you as an author, that sometimes you show up and nobody comes. It's terrifying. Yeah, it's terrifying. So sometimes these events are packed, and I had packed events like at every book signing, everything I did during my like book tour. But I was at Barnes & Noble with pouring rain outside. There was nobody, and I'm just standing at a table with a stack of books.
And it was huge. It's like the biggest Barnes & Noble I've ever seen. And also, nobody leaves their house in Los Angeles when it's raining. And this was like the winter rain to end all rains. Like the kind of rain where you're like, you're going to need to bring the car to me because I'm not walking 5 feet through the parking lot.
You're so sweet. And you guys came out,
it was
the
a
whole
blast.
family. It was so fun. Great. And then lined up for the photo, so it looked like it was busy. So I could post that on Instagram.
Get over here. Grab some books. We had a blast. It was fun. And my mom loved the gift and the sentiment and the actual book. So it was a win.
Thank you.
I just love that story so much. One of the things that we ask everybody on this show is, you know, it's trying to get at the heart of like, what does composed living mean to you? But I think also without context, that's maybe hard to understand because people just think of it, you know, on the home organization level of it. For me, it goes so much further, and it's, I mean, I have to live in an organized space because that's just how my brain works. Like, I won't be able to accomplish any other goals in life if my space is a mess. So it is truly the starting point for all other activities in my life.
Right.
But when we started this business, it was with the goal of helping people, you know, find that same sense of security and calm within their homes, but so that they can go on to create the rest of their life in a way that feels really special and meaningful to them.
Right.
And I think that that's different for everyone, and it changes throughout our lives. So right now, for me, at this exact moment in time, I'm very focused on how do I organize my life and my days so that I can experience more joy.
Right.
And it's very easy for me to I get caught up in, I'm obviously a very productive person and I'm very goal oriented. So I can spend 24 hours a day working towards accomplishing something, but there isn't always a lot of joy in that for me, or I forget that I can add joy into those moments.
Yes.
When you asked me why I started a podcast, I guess that would have been a better answer. Is like, this is something that professionally I wanted to do, but also it's something that's very joyful for me to be in community and in conversation with people that I love and that I want to learn from and share these stories with. So that's an example, I guess, of like what I'm doing right now.
Right.
And so for me, my word is joy. And I'm wondering if there's something that comes to mind for you as like your focus at this point in your life.
It's so interesting. You know, when I had that first reading with my astrologer, she said, "You're in your superpower year now because of the planets and whatnot." And she says, "Right now you're supposed to be having fun." And I thought, am I allowed to have fun? You know, I was actually in a really dark place. My father was dying and I was, and then I thought, well, wait a minute, I am allowed to have fun. And so I started when I started going on this adventure, I mean, all of our mutual friends, by the way, not going to name them, they looked at me like I was like just crazy.
What? That's not true.
You're doing what? True. You're tracking down how? I mean, I went on the radio, I made t-shirts, I went on Facebook, I did targeted advertising. Like, I was hell-bent on living this like adventure that I wanted to be on. And I remember a lot of people turned to me like, wow, your life is like a movie. And I'm like, well, so is yours. You just don't like the genre. Like, choose. So when you think about, I was thinking about this like composed living, right? Or for me, it's like curated living, or choosing not just the things, the items that we have in our closets and in our home, but the friendships we keep, the choices we make during the day, like really just being mindful about what we're doing instead of being reactive, which is kind of how I was living life up until then. I was just reacting to, like, pivoting to kind of solve whatever problem instead of being like, no, this is the direction I want to go in, and here's how I get there. And knowing it's okay to let go of some things, you know?
A lot of
it's
things.
like, let it go of that beloved sweater doesn't mean you didn't love that sweater. Like, I had to let go of Philippe. Like, I had to let go of a past love. But, I still love him, and I love that time. And it's the same thing with living in what we have in our homes and how we organize our day. And it's like, it's okay to sometimes, if a friendship doesn't serve you anymore and you guys, you don't feel good when you're around something, then maybe it should find another place. So not in a negative way. I mean that in a positive way. I don't know if this comes out
absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
I think I feel very much the same way. And we talk about sort of decluttering in phases, and not like a phase within your home, like you go from closet to garage, but like once your home is done, then you have to start on the emotional side or the relationship side, or, these other things, even if it's like goals or ambitions. When I was 18, I wanted to be a lawyer. And then I found out that I was pregnant, and then I, had a baby and was in college. Then I was like, well, do I want to be a better mom? Not that you can't be a good mom if you're a lawyer or working crazy hours. For me, it wouldn't have made any sense.
Right.
And I wanted to be able to spend more time with this small person, And so I had to pivot. Right. And it's like I could spend the rest of my life being regretful,
right,
or like holding some grudge against someone, the universe or circumstances or whatever, but that doesn't serve me on my path moving forward. And so I think there's so much of life that we can absolutely leave in the past and be happy for those times.
Yeah.
And realign ourselves around what feels better now.
Joyful.
Yeah. So are you still going? It's fun? You're like driving things?
Yeah, and I forget sometimes. So it's actually good to sit down and have a conversation like this, because I don't live every moment of my life that way. I wish I could.
Same. All joy all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way, but it's nice to have conversations about it and remind yourself that it's okay to give myself permission to have a little fun sometimes, even because I think I was tough on myself for a very long time. I'm not so tough on myself anymore.
I think it's easy to do as a mom, as a woman, as a younger person. It's, we have, at least I can only speak for myself, I have very high standards for myself and what I think I can accomplish in an hour, in a day, in a lifetime. Yeah. It's pretty unreasonable when I actually write it down and look at it, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe we should realign some things here.
I know. We're doing good.
Yeah. It's fine. It's all fine.
It's all fine. I know. I gotta let go of the I wish this could be better. I wish I could be a better mother, better writer, better real estate agent, better, all it's like, wait, I'm good. Yeah. Yeah. I
think the thing that puts it in perspective for me the fastest is just going outside and doing anything in nature. Right? Like the minute, if you put me on a beach and there's no one around, I'm just like, and I love the beaches here on a cloudy day where it's empty, there's no one around, maybe the occasional person with their dogs or something. But just watching the ocean and feeling the breeze and smelling the salt water, it's it doesn't cost you anything. Yep. It's, just you and this beautiful planet that we live on. And then I remember nothing else really matters. Yeah,
I'm a tree
There's
hugger,
some stuff that's that's so cool. There's stuff that's interesting. There's stuff that's a huge pain in the ass, and everything in between. But really, it's like you have such a finite amount of time to enjoy the beauty of this planet and the people that live here. And so,
And a reminder that there's something bigger than us. Because it's during, before I met you, I was not spiritual. I was not, a believer. I didn't really have a whole lot of hope. I just kind of...
So weird for me to picture.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
Even as you say it, I'm like, no, I don't believe you.
I know.
I think I've
People
always...
can change, I guess, happen, yeah. So, but that's my best way to, like, tap into, like, a higher something. So, just in nature. And I think it's a good reminder that there's, like, just... My stuff's not that important. There's something bigger, So...
Yeah. It is important. I mean, your stuff is always important to you and, to those closest to you. But truly, I think it just helps us to, just like, I don't know what's going on in Los Angeles. Do you have all of these stupid, weird little, like, tiny gnats flying around? Yeah. Where are they coming from?
I don't know. I noticed it too the other day.
It's so annoying. It's like, how did you even get into this room? It's like the most secluded part of the house. Anyway, sorry for all of you who are not watching the video of this. There was a very annoying little gnat who tried to attack my face. Now I've forgotten what I was talking about. But anyway, what do you do? Do you have anything lined up that's like really fun in the future?
I got accepted at an artist residency in France, which I'm really excited about. I was going to go, I know, it's fabulous. I'll send it to you. It's a chateau in the Champagne region. It's like one of the 10 most beautiful residencies in the world. I'm so excited. I can't pronounce it.
This is so cool.
It's amazing. Like, I just don't know. I kind of wasn't sure. This is me doubting me. I'm like, why did you accept me? Like, now I have to write
awesome.
Again. Yeah, it made me feel good to be accepted, and I just randomly like submitted a thing in the middle of the night. And so I was going to go this summer.
What are you doing?
You go for 2 weeks and you work on whatever you want to. There's musicians and sculptors and painters and filmmakers and any kind of artists can go there, as far as I understand. And this beautiful couple runs it. It's like 20 people, and you just kind of sit in this village of 40. It's a tiny village, and work on your art. So I was going to go this summer, but I had to push it to next summer first because of some family stuff going on. But
congrats! This is so cool.
Yeah, so that's gonna make me like get my butt into gear again and start writing, because I haven't been writing. I took a break.
I think that this is like the most beautiful answer to that question that you could have come up with.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. When I got accepted, I was like, you're kidding. Like, this is a whole new book. Like, I would watch this movie of somebody else going there. It's spectacular. And all the food
your
and
life
the wine. And
definitely the genre of movie that I want to be watching. That is so cool. Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
I am obsessed with like all things that foster creativity right now. This is like, creativity should be like my second word, but I guess they're very closely tied together for me. And like, I have been very like loosey-goosey doing like the artist's way and like trying to find ways to just like bring that feeling in, because it's so wonderful to see what you can create and to challenge your mind in this way. I love that this is something that you're pursuing.
And that it's not about the end product. It's about the process and the community and the people that you meet from all over the world who are going and supporting each other and talking about what it is to be an artist, and so they have workshops and also it's just a place, because I got a little nervous, like, then I have to produce, I have to, so I started DMing all those people who've gone there. They're like, it's not about that. It's really about the process of being there. So
isn't that like, that's the greatest life lesson to really let sink in too? Is like, it is not about producing. Yeah. It's not about how productive can we be, how much can I accomplish, achieve. It is in the learning and the creating and the experiences that you have along the way. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for you to go. So this is next summer.
Yeah. Well, I could have pushed it back to December, but I was like, no, I'm going to go to France in July. Or June or July. July, I think it is.
Although it does sound very cozy to be all like,
I could go there
curled up in like a blanket.
Chateau. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I might conveniently need to like appear in the Champagne region of France. I
think that's a fabulous idea.
Like the week before or the week after. Oh, so good.
I know.
That's incredible.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one.
How fun. And you're still working?
And then until then, yeah, so real estate is, for me, busy right now. I know that the market has changed a bit, but yeah, it's so...
Has business picked up since the TV show? So you work at the agency.
I work at the agency.
They have a relatively new, their own show.
Yes, they have Buying Beverly Hills, and they're filming season 2 right now, so I've gone to a couple different like filmings of that. So look for me in the background drinking champagne.
Oh my gosh,
probably.
So
I don't know. We're in the office.
Well, if I ever need random people in the background to drink champagne, it's like my second calling in life. So
we just went to. They were filming for The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And we all got, a couple friends from the agency got invited to Kyle's white party.
I saw this on Instagram and was like, what is happening?
Of my whole life.
It was at SoFi Stadium.
Yes, we took it.
There was like
SoFi.
5 million people there.
No, there weren't that many actually. It felt like, it probably looks that way, but it was a pretty small curated list.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we were having a lot of fun. They had performers and dancers and a whole army of cameras filming everything. And of course, we're just having fun. We're like
cool.
tackling each other on the field, like dancing on the stage. Like,
you looked stunning. Love
my ponytail.
Hair.
Yeah, I got an
Margot,
extension.
your daughter.
I brought Margot as my date.
So beautiful.
I'm so happy she's home.
For people who don't know the connection between those two things, and hopefully I'll get this right. I've never watched The Real Housewives. All the girls on my team are obsessed.
I don't watch it either. I have, but I don't watch much TV in general, actually. But...
They have, yeah, same. That's not true. I watch a lot of TV, but whatever.
Yeah.
I watch other.
Yeah.
television.
Yeah. That's fine.
I have to compromise with a husband, and we have to find things that we like together. Blah blah blah. Whatever.
So Kyle is one of the housewives.
Kyle is a housewife. She's married to the founder of the agency.
Yes.
And that's how those two shows come together.
Yes.
It's like a his and hers.
Yeah,
amazing
so and Buying
show.
Beverly Hills is basically it's mostly about Mauricio and his girls, his amazing family, whom I adore, every single one of them, and a bunch of other characters of the agency.
So cool.
And me in the background drinking champagne.
Love it. What a dream.
It's so LA. My life is so
but in the best way.
I know.
And none of it feels
as long as you go hug a tree every once in a while and like kind of get out of
perspective. Yeah. Oh man. That white party looked so fun. I love a theme.
I know.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that business is good. I know people are a little worried about the real estate market right now and whatever.
But people will always buy and sell. People always have reasons to move, and so people worry about interest rates, but you can always refinance, and people are still, at least it was a little nutty before when there was like 60 offers on one house. It was hard to be. It was hard to help people when there was so much competition. Now it's like leveling out a bit, and
which I think is great.
Yeah.
And every time I talk about interest rates to my dad, he's like, "Oh, please! When I bought the house that you grew up in, interest rates were like 30%."
Right.
I'm like, "What? Okay, well, great, no big deal."
We've just been living in a string an unusual
I guess
low. Yeah.
A lot of our lifetime has been in this kind of funny other circumstance.
Yeah.
But, we just bought this house, and it was just before all that, I guess. So it was very much like the bidding war timeline, and what a nightmare that is.
Sorry.
And I feel like it also forces you into, doesn't force you, but like it can force you into a rash decision because you feel this false sense of pressure.
Yeah.
So I think there's, actually some good that comes out of this too, where it's like you can make an educated decision. You can go after the property that actually suits you.
Yes.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's good. Anyone out there wanting to buy or sell, call me.
Yeah.
That's my little plug. Besides buying my book, I'll sell you a house, I'll buy you a house. What do you need? I'll bake you a cake.
How about if you buy a house from Natasha, she will throw in a book.
There you go.
It's a buy one, get one situation, people. We gotta get on board here. And then you can hire Compose Living to help you move into the house. Out of your old house into the new house.
That's such a brilliant collaboration, so we need to talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Helping people move is like one of my favorite things because it's such a stressful time. And it's so wonderful to be in a position to help people make that more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I love that. That and garages for some reason are like my fave just because it's such an easy win. It's like, everyone's garage is like disgusting to begin with. So no matter what we do, it's like, look, magic.
Right.
You're always going to be happy with the results. Oh man, so good. Well, it's so nice to have you here.
It's so nice to be here.
Thank you so much for being a guest today. I hope everybody gets the book, reads the story. So exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for having me in your
So
lovely
nice.
home.
It's lovely in progress.
I mean, come on, it's great.
It's a work in progress.
Well, I can feel the
it's
joy.
almost done. Yeah. We did the feng shui numbers on this house
You did?
before I bought it. Yeah. This is like my new weird obsession.
Yeah.
And I think it's a 2, which means like relationships.
Oh.
And boy, has this house tested our relationships.
Yeah.
Now in a good way.
Good.
The first year, not so much.
Yeah, well.
It was real rough. But I think now I understand the meaning of that, you know, where it was like in the first year, we bought this house to work on our family relationships, to have a bigger space for everyone to feel comfortable being here. And it's funny because the Encino house, the number was 8, which is like money, money, money.
Right.
And we made a shit ton of money when we sold that house. It was great. It was like the best financial investment that we ever could have made. And I can only say that without feeling braggy because Chad and I literally spent every dollar that we had ever made after both of us like 20 years in a career. And then both of us having like divorces and child support and school loans and grad school, like just all the stuff. We finally got to a place where we're like, we can almost put a down payment on this house. And then through the whole like escrow process, they're like, we need a little more. We need a little. And then we're like, whoa, we don't have this. So when we closed, we're like, thank God we don't have to pay a mortgage this first month because we wouldn't be able to. Like that's how stretched we were. So 4 years later when we sold it, we were so fortunate to be able to like,
that's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To be able to get a bigger space and to do the renovation and all of these things. But I was like, this is hilarious that house's number like literally was money, and it gave us the exact amount of money we needed to buy this space and turn it into a house that our family would be happy living in for the next 10 years. Yeah. And so then in that process, it was our marriage that was really tested in the first year because renovations are not fun and just sort of life circumstances. Maybe it's also like that 7-year itch timing. I don't know. I don't know what the 7-year itch means, but I gather it means that couples just, you know, fight like crazy. So we did all of that. We got it out of the way. And now that the renovation's almost done, I'm hoping that translates to like harmonious relationships. And just really focused on the family being together here more. We'll see. Yeah. Maybe we'll do like a composed living feng shui house numbers.
I would love that. I know very little about it, despite like I'll have clients that they kind of follow, they'll bring somebody in, but I don't know much about it.
We have a feng shui expert who is partnering with us. She does. I'm like just learning this piece, and I usually will do like my own research just for like I have such a curious mind and I want to know all of these things. But we work with a woman, Laura, who's like an actual certified feng shui expert. And so I'll have to get her to do a little workshop on like house numerology.
I love
you can
that.
do like you can even match it up to the individual person apparently. Well, now we can get Composed Living to work with Natasha from the agency. We'll bring in the feng shui expert.
There you go.
We'll find someone at the county who approves the changing of house numbers. And we'll get everybody situated in their dream home for their dream life circumstances.
Sounds like
that's the goal. That's 2024 goals.
Yeah.
This year's a little.
You got your year is full.
Oh man. Okay. Well, thank you again